This is Joe Coleman, the new television champion, the super soldier, the genetic jackpot, the Jack Knight, the Tan Lantern, and the master of the universe.
This is the beast of nature, the freak, Rob Terry.
Hi, I'm OVW official Josh Ashcraft.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at Triple Threat Talk. I'm Dean Hill.
This is Ricky Chevy, and I'm the blue-collar millionaire.
I'm Mr. Peck. God, that's great every time. Spectacular.
We're the Broner Brothers.
I am the One Girl Revolution, Taylor Hendricks.
This is Brandon Espinoza.
I'm the Assassin.
I'm Bruno Raul Limata.
I'm James Moose Thomas.
I'm Shiloh Jones. My name is Ron Head. I'm the announcer for OVW.
I'm Jamin Olivencia.
I'm Alex Silva. I'm Rocco Bellagio.
I'm Kerry Bodie, the Ohio Valley Wrestling fan advocate. Raphael Constantine.
I'm Rand Perez.
My name's Muhammad Ali. Baez.
I'm Paradise.
This is Jack Black.
This is Ohio Valley Wrestling, referee Chris Sharp.
This is Sexy Sean Casey. I'm Chris Silvio.
This is Michael Hayes. This is Jason West.
And you're watching Triple Threat Talk.
To the internet sensation Triple Threat Talk episode 80. We survived the end of the world. Kudos to Mike for getting that wrong.
That's twice in the last 2 years.
We dodged 2 bullets. What's going on with this? He was so sure it was going to happen.
Yes,
like it was one of those things that like he was saying it without saying it because he was like, I don't believe it.
He was like my life. He was like, oh, it's gonna happen. The power's gonna go out. We're not gonna have cable. We're not gonna have
cats
internet.
and dogs are gonna be playing together. It's gonna be insane. I mean, this is what he was saying.
This is what he was saying without saying it. You're right. I mean,
wasn't the only one who thought it.
No, you weren't, and that's okay. But when and you know we don't talk religion on the show. That's not what we do. But when two things scientifically and religiously back up the fact that the world's not going to end. The world's not going to end. I mean, religiously...
I think you may be a nominee for this week's Idiot of the Week.
Well, which would be appropriate since you were Idiot of the Week.
Yeah, yes, I was Idiot of the Week.
So when is your turn?
He's
Idiot of the Week every week. We know
just a nominee. But yeah, I mean, when you had two things backing up that the world was not going to end, I mean, come on. Okay. And come on.
Whatever. We're here anyway.
Anyway.
It's episode 80.
It's episode 80.
That's why I'm glad I wish the world didn't. I went to episode 80.
I'm just saying, before long it'll be episode 100.
20 more weeks.
Are we going to quit again and do another run-on skit?
Probably.
Do.
Anyways, so we're going to open up the show as usual with Postmaster doing views or questions, and then we're going to hit up the week's headlines. Then the next segment after that will be NFL and Pick'ems. And then this week, usually we go into a little bit of wrestling coverage, but I think we all agreed this week that wrestling kind of sucked.
Well, it wasn't the fact that it sucked, and obviously we'll get to that later. But it's not the fact that it sucked, it was just a lot of reruns and nothing
really.
They're off.
Yeah. So we'll end it with Wildcard's an Idiot of the Week as we usually do. Without much further ado, going to Jimmy Postmaster Jones for some views or questions.
All right, from the Buck in 5. Since we talked on the show about OVW has become worse due to the TNA's involvement, how could the three of you fix the problem?
Easily.
Nothing's easy.
No, it does need a lot of work.
It's not that... I don't think the TNA involvement has ruined it. That's not what we were saying.
It has ruined it for us.
Well, it's not... I don't think it's them. I don't think it's that... them being involved with TNA. I don't think that's the sole reason. It doesn't help.
I think that is the sole reason.
No, I think it's the fact that...
I can give you evidence that it's the sole reason.
The partnership's not a bad idea because they obviously want.
No, it's never a bad idea.
But I think the thing with them being involved with TNA is because now you have people that aren't in OVW not being used.
Right.
Because people that have been there for the long haul.
Right.
I'm not going to name everybody because I can go on a list.
Right. We can.
But with TNA now there, people that are already in TNA are getting featured because that's what they are now.
Right.
And some people that have been with OVW for years, they're not really getting featured because it's like, before it was OVW, Tomorrow Superstars Today. Now it's OVW, official training off of TNA. They make sure you know that.
Right.
So it's kind of like, I don't know.
I was just gonna say, I mean, I don't want to offend anybody here, but we all know that some of the regular OVW talent really isn't.
Again, we won't name names.
Right.
It isn't like, there's certain ones you're like, okay, you just don't really legitimately see him on WWE or TNA
Right,
or ROH.
And I know where you're going because I was there for that conversation. But I do also want to add that to even though that's the case, I think one of the big things is it was still good. They were still drawing when that thing happened.
Yeah.
What has changed is the factor that TNA has brought them on. Now, like you said, TNA partnering with them is not a bad idea.
But the writing is miserable.
The writing is miserable. And what needs to improve is TNA needs to realize that before they started tampering with everything, OVW's viewership was... viewership and attendance was way up here.
Yeah.
So I think TNA needs to look at that.
Whether that was somebody's credits or not, we
Well, that's
his name because he thinks it was his credit.
The thing I've noticed too is that I know we haven't gone to OVW in a couple of weeks, but the thing I've noticed,
I'm going the first week of January. I've already said that.
Okay.
The doctor will be there. We will film after that if necessary. But
no,
I'm going the first week of January.
I was going to say that. If you go recently, it's obviously we've gone, numerous times, obviously,
right.
And the crowd's been, pretty decent. It's been full or close to full. With TNA, there's just
it's miserable.
They barely get 100.
There's a lot of empty seats, and they have to really struggle to film it that way to make sure no one sees like, wow, there's like a huge row of people that aren't there.
Nobody's there. So, also for the Buck in 5 again. What TV shows do you think had the best and worst season and series finales?
I'll go worst first. Sopranos is obviously up there. Fade to Black, that was really odd.
I think that was good though.
Why?
Because
you must be the one who said that.
Leaves it open for what?
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
And all right, let me ask you this. You liked Inception, didn't you?
I loved it. Okay. That was a great movie.
What's the difference between the ending of Inception and the ending of The Sopranos?
Because
now, what's the difference?
There's a big difference. There's a big difference. In Inception, it doesn't fade to black.
But it does pretty much the same thing without doing the same thing. The top keeps spinning, right?
Right.
Okay, and it kind of looks like it might be wobbling down with the, so it leaves it open.
And if it goes
with
down, he's dreaming.
And if it stays up, he's not.
He's not.
But with the Sopranos, it kind of fades out. It kind of, are they going to do something else with this? Are they not? Is the top going to keep spinning? Is it not?
But he's but it makes you wonder, is he dead or is he not? That's annoying.
I'm just saying.
I think with the show like that and the characters they had.
It's the way they ended it. The movie Inception was... That was the way it was.
Yeah.
So the ending it didn't surprise me. Sopranos, you would have thought that James Gandolfini would have been killed off,
or somebody,
or something big would have happened to end the show.
Right.
I'll give you another good example of a show that was one of my favorites and that was on for years and it ended kind of weird. Was Nip Tuck. That was another odd show that the way it ended, you were like, wow, really? And The Shield. I don't know if you ever watched The Shield on FX with Michael Chiklis. The way it ended was kind of like, okay, he grabs his gun out of the desk and walks out the door, and it goes to bite. You're like, what the hell,
Another one I can think of as worst was Seinfeld.
I like that.
Well, I give them credit for...
It kind of made me actually think they were coming back in a year.
Well, I give them credit for trying to bring all the characters back because that was a good move. Mm-hmm. But again, I don't think people really cared for the going to jail because the law was kind of stupid anyway, in the sense where they said, the Good Samaritan law, you're required to help somebody unless it's reasonable to do so. The guy had a gun on him, so it's kind of like, well, he could have been killed. So it's kind of like, and then Kramer help out on the plane, and all those factors went into it. I like how they brought the characters back, but just the ending was kind of not a big payoff for a show that's been on 9-10 years.
So we've named some bad ones.
Yeah.
Well, I really can't think of anything terrible about any show that's kind of ended, except for the fact that shows that shouldn't have ended, like Las Vegas, not to be confused with Vegas.
Yes, don't confuse
Vegas is that.
Las Vegas, Heroes, of course, should never have ended.
Well, that was
the way it
that was
did.
a writing thing in NBC.
That was second season though, and then Terra Nova should never have ended the way it did.
Yeah, don't get me started on. Well, Fox is a whole other breed of network. I mean, you have Terra Nova, and people. If I say Firefly, people are going to start going.
Firefly should never have.
So I'll stop there because if I say Firefly, people are just going to start getting angry. So I'm going to stop there. But
Trending now, Firefly.
Yeah. The best ones I never saw it, but everyone credits MASH as one of the best series finales ever. The way they went home and stuff like that.
Right.
I can't really think of the best ones because the ones I usually watch, they're not that good. Though.
Yeah, the endings always seem to disappoint.
Seinfeld,
one of the best ones. It's up for a daytime Emmy, which is always a good thing. It's also written by the same people that do Hawaii Five-0, so it gives a little bit of legitimacy when I say Transformers Prime, because it ended the way it ended was Optimus's hand was up through the rubble after the base exploded. And it was a serious moment. I mean, this is much darker. This series is incredibly dark. It's for the fans that are our age. And, of course, they do one for kids, also on the Hub Network. But this one is definitely for people our age. It's incredibly dark. And I think it's actually rated 14 to TV 14.
I've never heard of it.
I have, but I did.
But Optimus's hand is up.
Doesn't
and
mean
it's kind of quiggling.
Never heard of it.
And that's how they ended it for the third season. So I thought that was awesome how they ended that. And another good one to kind of bring it back. I liked how they ended Justified.
It's not over yet. Season finale.
Yeah. I like how they ended that.
I forgot that part. You could say Borg Empire last season.
Yeah,
It was Justified.
I didn't think about that. I mean,
Okay, all right.
Well, breaking news: Rosie O'Donnell has just canceled her 7th show. Just so you know.
What?
It's just saying. Just saying.
From
Jeffrey Kastner.
Very insightful.
It was a joke. It
was a bad joke.
It flopped.
When Ryback mentioned Owen Hart on the Slammy Awards, will we see Owen Hart in the 2013 Hall of Fame?
No. I think you could even change that question. Will we see Owen Hart in the Hall of Fame period? And I'd still probably say no. It's up to his widow. She's still kind of, sore about what happened to him. Obviously, she has every right to be. Again, it's under her discretion if she wants him to go in or not. When she unfortunately passes on, then it goes down to his kids, and then that's completely up to them. That's completely up to them if they want to see him in the Hall of Fame. I think we're all in agreement he should be in, obviously. But again, she's in complete control at this point, and she has her foot down. She's going to say no. Right. So again, it has to see what happens after she passes on, and then the kids are in control. If they say he's going to get in, then obviously that can that's their decision.
Right.
I agree. No. I mean, for that reason too.
Bret Hart wants him in, but like he said, the widow is kind of controlling that, so I don't think we would see it ever. From the Big Corn 16.
Big Corn?
Yes.
Okay.
WWE recently came out with the top 50 greatest finishers, and the Stone Cold Stunner was number 1. What finisher do you guys think is the best one in the wrestling, not just WWE?
I didn't see this DVD, and judging from the cover...
DVD.
Yes, DVD.
Yes.
Judging from the cover, I thought it was going to be Shawn Michaels because he was on the cover. But I mean, I have no problem with picking the Stunner. I guess I'd probably watch from the DVD. They'd probably be like, oh, it was a quick finisher. It won a lot of matches and stuff like that. So I have no problem with that being number 1. Best one in wrestling. I mean, you can make art for Sweet Chin Music. It was quick, lethal, the pedigree. If you're not going to go outside WWE, there the Canadian Destroyer, which is a devastating move.
That movie's at
Diamond Cutter, RKO, Rock. I mean, there's so many you can name. I think the best ones or maybe made the most impact as long term, like Stone Cold Stunner, Sweet Chin Music, stuff like that.
Right.
But I mean, you can't go wrong with a lot of these moves because a lot of them are innovative and really, set the bar for wrestling. Like, let's try this, see if we can do this move to you, and they kind of did it. So,
I've always been a fan of high impact moves like Powerbomb, Sweet Chin Music, the Jackhammer. I was always a big fan of the Jackhammer, and one of my favorite moves. It sucks that they have trouble having people do it these days. Is the Anaconda Vice. I like to see CM Punk use it a lot more.
The first time I saw the Canadian Destroyer, I come out of my chair and my jaw was down to the floor. That was the most amazing move I'd ever seen.
Can't do that anymore.
No, they can't do it anymore, but it was pretty amazing. Obviously, the Pile Driver, another move they can't do anymore, but it's pretty cool to see a Pile Driver.
You're going to see the stage of wrestling, evolve,
right,
from early days and then...
Right. But like you said, there's a lot of good ones from Rock Bottom and that. So
Right, yeah.
Good stuff.
Good stuff.
From the Michael Cage, a direct question to Big B.
Oh, really?
He challenges you to a match on WWE 13
WWA.
on January 3rd, 2013 at 8 o'clock. Do you accept?
Let me check my schedule. What day is that?
The 3rd.
It's a Thursday.
A Thursday?
All right, look it up.
Thursday at 8.
Next Thursday, 8 o'clock.
You know what?
Be there.
He's not worth my time.
Wow.
Really?
He's not worth my time.
Really?
Okay.
You went there? Boo!
All right, I'll defend myself.
Softy.
Stop that. I'll defend myself. I probably got to edit the show and put it up then, so I don't have time for his little games.
Boo. No excuses. No excuses.
All right, so you're gonna do it or not?
Yes or no? Come on, the world is watching.
Our segment is about to end, so you need to wrap it up.
Send me a request on PSN, you know my tag. See what happens.
All right.
There you go. So with that, we'll turn it back to Big B, and he will anoint this week's viewer of the week.
This week, so you're probably speaking, aren't you?
Yes.
Let's see. Viewer of the week. I like the question because I think it brought a lot of the date, something like that. So I'm gonna. I picked Jeffrey Casser. I think was a good topic. I did a good question about Owen Hart.
All right.
And all things. So Jeffrey Casser, this week's Triple Threat Talk, episode 80, Viewer of the Week.
And we will hear him ranting on Facebook that he is the four-time viewer of the week. And with that, we will get into headlines right after this.
It doesn't matter what comes, fresh goes better in life. With Mentos fresh and full of life. Nothing gets to you, staying fresh, staying cool. With Mentos fresh and full of life. Fresh goes better, Mentos fresh. Fresh goes better with Mentos fresh and full of life.
Mentos, the fresh maker.
And welcome back. We are doing headlines right now on Triple Threat Talk, and we start off with a doozy. The Nets let go of Avery Johnson as their head coach.
I can't think of this one.
What does this mean for the future of Brooklyn?
I mean, it makes kind of no sense. It makes some sense because they were struggling. They won 3 games in their last, I think, 20, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or not 20.
They started out 11-4.
Yeah, and they've gone 3
and they've went 3-10
since. Yeah.
So it's got to make you wonder. They've got the talent.
Right.
Some would argue they've got the talent.
Right.
They've got the money.
Yeah.
They've got Jay-Z.
Right.
what else do they need?
The thing is, it's like, it was weird because Avery Johnson was the coach, the Eastern Conference coach for the month of October, or November, or December.
See, this is the thing. Well, the thing that always bothers me: who the heck cares if you're coach of the month? I want coach of the year.
Well, no,
I could be coach of the month for a month. I mean, seriously.
No, you couldn't.
Yes, I could.
But the question I posed to you after that
I'll give you
is...
the Bobcats, and you coach them for a month. See what he coaches.
Well, he might win 1 game.
Maybe.
He might get lucky once.
Let's not forget, the dog knows his ball.
Whoa!
It's true.
Lord.
I'm not denying that at all. No.
Whoa.
The thing is, like...
You want to like us on Facebook?
No, I mean, it's just, it's to that point. They fire him after going, like you said, what their record is now, 14-14 or something like that.
Yeah, they started 11-3 and they're 3-10.
So obviously they expect better because they're trying to contend.
Look who they have. They should be better.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying then look at the teams like the Bobcats and the Wizards. They're not firing anybody.
But I think a lot of it has to do with how well the Knicks are performing, and they feel like they're pressured.
Yeah.
And they're in that new arena,
New city,
the new arena. All this money's being spent.
Jay-Z.
Right.
Jay-Z, he's big pimping, spinning the cheese.
What the hell? What the hell?
Does he sing the national anthem before each Nets song?
Jay-Z?
Yeah, Jay-Z.
No.
You should get Beyonce to do it. It would sound better than Jay-Z. Just bring her in.
In a couple years, it'll be Ivy Blue.
What the heck? Where's the show gone? Good Lord.
Richard Sherman.
Ivy Blue.
Richard Sherman wins his appeal against the NFL, which I'm sure Big B is happy about. This story is just nasty. Because when he hands a sample over, it's leaking.
Yeah, apparently it was leaking.
And we all know what's in that sample bag. I mean, come on.
Beer? Beer.
It looks like beer.
Iced tea?
Apple juice?
If it's iced tea, he really needs to go get checked.
But, according to Adam Schefter, the sample he got that was tampered with, the seal was broken. So obviously that's not...
Which is usually what you don't want to do. You don't want to break this.
walked into that. But it's good, and it's setting it up, for them to really get their best player on defense back. And it's kind of weird that Brandon Browner and Richard Sherman both had suspension for this. Browner decided not to appeal it. He served 4 games. Now he's going to be back for the playoffs for them. So now they're going to have both their corners back for the playoffs. That's really good for them defensively. Because if Sherman didn't win the appeal, he'd be out. And let's see how they have the Super Bowl, he'd be back for that game. So that's really tough for them. Him to take that gamble. Because instead Browner was like, you know what? I'm going to take my suspension. Because he assumed they were going to make the playoffs anyway. But Sherman didn't do it. He stuck by his word. And he luckily, the NFLPA.
Here's where I have a problem with this. If you are, whether you're innocent or not, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're innocent or not, if you are accused of doing performance-enhancing drugs, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you playing, even if you appeal. If you appeal it, that's great. But if you're on the field and you're considering giving yourself an unfair advantage, thus giving your team an unfair advantage, you shouldn't even be playing. Now, if it's something like with the Saints, even though I completely despise the Saints for what they did in the offseason, I can see them playing through an appeal. I can.
But the rules are rules.
But the rules are rules. And I don't agree with this particular rule. I think this needs to be changed because that could be saying, I could be doing, he could have been, all right, doing performance-enhancing drugs throughout the whole season, and how much of that would have contributed to the Seahawks' success, especially at home. 8-0 now at home. 7-0, going for the sweep this week.
Yeah.
How much of that would contribute to the Seahawks' success?
Well, I'm saying this because I actually found more about this drug that he supposedly, obviously didn't take. It was Adderall. And it's ludicrous that I was listening to the radio this morning about,
like Chris Bridges, what did he have to say?
Well, I was listening to Chris.
I think a lot of people in the NFL take Adderall, so it had to be something other than Adderall.
It's not just, here's the thing. Like I said, Adderall is something for people with ADHD, and there's some things in there where they'll suspend you for using some type of inhaler. It's just like, what can't you take? You know what I mean?
You can fail a drug test by eating poppy seeds. So there you go.
Well, I'm just saying.
True story.
I'm just saying.
Poppy seeds test positive for opiates, boys and girls.
Yep.
Tell your parents if you're eating poppy seeds.
Now you tell everybody just pass drug tests.
Just saying.
Drug addicts out there. Way to go.
Just saying.
Good job.
If you eat a poppy seed
We're not making anybody to be drug addicts.
You're just making people that watch the show.
If you go to apply for a job and you've eaten a poppy seed bagel, guess what? You're going to fail. We're spreading awareness.
They're going to be like you. We're going to fail.
They're going to say, why were you out doing cocaine? That's exactly what they're going to say. And you're going to say, I ate a poppy seed muffin. And they're going to laugh at you. And yeah, right, you were eating a poppy seed muffin.
How did this story go from Richmond to bakery baked goods? How did the story go?
There's a bakery up the street.
What does that have to do with anything?
What is this now? Bakery talk?
The NHL has canceled all their games until January the 14th. What? Again with this clapping. Stop it.
Well, guess what?
What?
Time to put on your bowling shoes. It's bowling.
That's right. The PBA Chameleon Championship is on ESPN this Sunday at 1 o'clock.
Go watch Pete Weber balls and stripes.
Yes.
Pete
Weber.
I do have to say something.
And Walter Ray Williams bowling.
I had watched the 30 for 30 on Bo Jackson, who was obviously very, very famous with baseball and football. So the other day, going along with the end of the world, I was posting ludicrous statements.
I did see that.
And I put on there, and one that got a lot of positive feedback was the fact that I put LeBron James to play hockey. He wants to be the first person to participate in 2 sports that have had labor disputes, adding the fact that hockey would be perfect for him since there's no fourth quarter. So they got a lot of positive feedback.
On a more serious note,
yes.
As a diehard hockey fan as you are, and the biggest one in this bunch, how frustrated are you that A, they canceled up to this point, and B, more than likely you're not going to have a hockey season, and C, this is 2 lockouts in the last 8 years for hockey.
Did you not see the promo at the end of the show last week? Could not tell
I know, but I'm just saying now it's even more. It's just because
it hasn't changed.
Well, I mean, now it's pretty close to not having a season again.
I'm not surprised. I'm used to it.
Do you think it comes back?
Yes, it'll come back just because it's too. A lot of people say, "Well, it's not that," but it's more popular than what you think.
But I'm saying to that. How close do you think they are to getting rid of Bettman if he is the big problem?
He needs to go.
Well, I know he does.
He's an idiot.
Well, what percentage of it do you think he does go?
20, because they're hard-headed and they don't understand that he's the problem.
To another point, though, and you brought up a good point and probably didn't realize it when you're talking about change. how much is part of this problem with hockey that it has not kept up with the times? It's one of those sports that really hasn't kept up with the times over the course of the last 5, 10, even 15 years. Very little has changed in hockey, whereas, for example, in the NBA, a player just stepping foot on a court can change a rule, such as a Wilt Chamberlain, such as a Michael Jordan. Yeah. And the same for football.
There has been some
There's been minor changes. I'm not nitpicking. I'm talking about in basketball. There have been major changes regarding driving the lane or how far you can come into a lane with shooting and the charge aspect now. And things in football have changed. Like, obviously now the 30-yard line kickoffs.
But you know what all that is, though? To your point, all that is favoritism. That is catering to the stars.
And it very well may be, but that doesn't take away from that argument, though, that they are major changes.
And it might be, but the hockey doesn't need a major change to showcase its stars. The stars don't need special rules like a charging lane or don't touch me here, that's 15 yards for roughing when I'm trying to throw the ball.
When I'm sneezing at you.
Yes. They don't need that because 9 times out of 10, the elite players in hockey always get theirs. They're better than everybody. In hockey, it's different.
Right.
Because Alex Ovechkin, I screwed that one up.
He did.
Always gets his points. He's going to get his goals. He's going to get his assists.
Sidney Crosby. I mean, I could go down the line. I could go on and on. Yeah. But to that point, they don't need rules. Like, they've made minor rule changes, like replay on goal, like they have, which baseball doesn't have.
Right.
So I don't think they need it, and I don't think that's the problem. The problem is the owners feel like they should be making buku's money for whatever reason.
That's the issue.
The issue is the owners want like 60%, and that's absurd. I'm sorry.
They have to bend a little bit.
I'm not watching. God, I love him. He's one of my favorites. I'm not tuning in to watch Mario Lemieux, even though he's the owner of the Penguins. Yeah, you've had your time. I'm not tuned in to watch Wayne Gretzky. I'm tuned in to watch Sidney Crosby, Shea Weber, Pekka Rinne, Alex Ovechkin. So I'm tuned in to see the players. And the fact that the owners want more money than the players by such a high percentage is ridiculous because they're not selling the owner's personalized stick or jersey at the NHL store. They're selling, the doctor's stick. If you were playing hockey, if you were playing,
that would be going for hundreds of dollars.
Anyway, I'm making a point here.
Way to build them up there.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it's like, Big B's the owner, you're the player. I'm not here to watch Big B. I'm here to watch you. I could care what he's doing. I don't care less.
But thank you. I don't want you to know.
To that point, though, the owners at one point this year did go down as far as 50-50, and a deal still was not struck. So clearly, money is not the issue at that point.
No.
What is the issue? There has got to be another issue. If it's ego, it would have never got to 50-50.
It's still ego. I promise you, it's ego.
I find it hard to believe that it's ego.
The Fear Brothers. The guys that they were in on the lock strikeout in '94 with baseball.
Yeah. If it had gone 70-30, if it had gone 70-30, or even 60-40, I could see ego.
It's ego, I promise you.
50-50, I can't see ego.
I keep up with hockey on Twitter and on the internet every day, and trust me, it's ego. Yeah. Not just on the player side, but on the owner side. Right. The guys that negotiate for the players, the Fear Brothers, Donald and his brother, his name slipped my mind at this moment.
Right.
And then Gary Bettman for the owners. Yeah. The commissioner.
He's a big one. Yeah.
They both have egos bigger than this room. It's ridiculous.
This
it's
room's
like,
pretty small.
Get your head out of your hind ends.
You know what he meant.
Get your head out of your hind ends and get a deal done. But will it happen? I doubt it.
I feel bad for the fans. It's not fair to them.
It sucks. I mean, I was looking forward to going to 8 or 10 hockey games in Nashville this year.
You're probably going to go to 0.
Yeah, now I'm not going to go to a single one. It's upsetting.
So I guess the Kings are going to repeat as champions by default. Pretty much by default.
By default, why not?
Big B, tell us about Rafael Nadal out for exhibitions in a minute or less.
See how much he cares. Obviously we all...
It's exhibition.
Yeah, we don't really care about it.
Just like we don't talk about pre-season.
Again,
this argument
he's missing the point, what I told him earlier off air. I was saying...
He's always missing the point.
Can I go?
Go ahead.
Thank you. But no, we talked about last year that Nadal lost that second round to Lucas Rosal Wimbledon, and he was out because of tendonitis in his knee, and he was rehabbing and stuff like that. And he was going to play in this exhibition tournament in Abu Dhabi. well, there's some kind of stomach illness. He's not going to play. So now he's got to go in fresh in January, the Australian Open. Now he hasn't played at all since that loss, and you know who knows how he's going to play. And I was saying earlier, he has to make it to the final to defend his points. If he doesn't make it to the final, he drops to 5 unless something happens to Ferrer. If Ferrer falls out, so you know Nadal is one of those players that he plays so physical, and I just don't see him playing for much longer, honestly, because he's just going to continue to drop. He's had more knee problems that I can continue to count. It's just I don't know how to continue to play, and that's the style he plays. It's a shame he can't play in this exhibition because it would see how he's rehabbed and how he's gotten back, to playing with the style he plays. But now
wouldn't he play a bunch of nobodies to begin the tournament?
No, people enter that tournament that are pretty well known. It's not just nobodies. It just doesn't count. People do enter that are pretty high up there.
Right.
But like I said, he's not going to get.
He's far superior than his first couple opponents, right?
Well, yeah.
But then you would see.
Yeah, but I'm saying he was superior than Rasol. He got beat. His knees. We'll have to see how his knees are when he plays in Australia, because, like I said, he's going to have to come back, and he's going to have to come back strong, unless he's going to continue to fall.
True.
Coach, put me in.
Who?
I can go. He has a sprained wrist. Put me in. No, I'm going with Sanchez. Really? Tim Tebow not playing.
You mean McElroy?
No, that's what I'm talking about. McElroy's wrist is sprained.
No, McElroy has a
concussion. Sorry. Either way, he's not playing Sunday.
Yes.
Talking about Tim Tebow, and then the UK U of L game up next after the break. You're watching Triple Threat Talk.
Hey Cam, thanks a lot for coming to my school today.
No problem, Nate.
I promise to exercise and eat right.
Don't forget 60 minutes of play a day, right?
And I'll grow up to be big and strong like you.
Absolutely.
And play in the NFL.
Yes, sir.
And be drafted #1.
Maybe.
And become the starting quarterback of the Panthers.
Okay.
You can be my backup.
Excuse me?
And make Panthers fans forget about you. And become your mom's favorite player.
Whoa.
I'm just loosening my arm.
Triple Threat Talk is back. I'm Gary the Dr. Lockett alongside my esteemed co-host Big B, Brandon DeMiro, Postmaster Jones, Jimmy Biggers.
What's with the emphasis, fella?
I don't know. I'm being excited
I think he's hopped up on Pepsi Max.
I think we all wanted to talk about this next subject. Rex Ryan still not putting in Tim Tebow even after Greg McElroy is now concussed. Even after we know Mark Sanchez couldn't carry a team with a bucket that was a mile deep. So what is going on?
What? Huh?
You can't carry a team with a bucket.
I heard you.
With a really big bucket.
A mile deep?
A really big bucket.
Where's your analogies coming from today?
Sometimes. Either way.
I think he's getting someone's writing for him.
Either way.
I hope so.
Tebow.
Must be TNA.
Why? What? Ouch!
You didn't hear that? Shh.
Wow, TNA's writers are going to be on us.
But anyway,
they watch the show. You know that, right?
I'm just saying.
Back to the topic at hand, since I'll try to get us back on topic here.
You talking about Tim Tebow going to Jacksonville?
Here's the thing. First of all, I am tired, so tired, of talking about.
You look tired.
There's not to deal with people. Every week, same stuff, same situations. No,
wait a minute. Before you go on this topic, I need to mention something.
Oh, please don't.
If memory corrects me, right now,
if memory corrects you,
yes.
If memory serves, correct you if you're wrong.
Yes,
okay.
Thank you.
All right.
For the last month, there has not been one bad Cody Rhodes bash for a month, at least.
I think you just forgot.
I will have to say one thing.
We're not on that topic right now.
No. I just because we're not going to cover much wrestling. I love his new Twitter photo. It's half him and half Anakin Skywalker down the middle. Okay. I like that.
Okay, he likes it. Anyway, like I said, I am tired, so tired of talking about the pathetic New York Jets. Okay?
Yeah, I'm tired of Rex Ryan's ego stopping his team from actually being good.
Here's the thing, okay? They had a chance to make the playoffs. As bad as they were.
Yeah, they were in the hunt. They're 5-7.
That game against the Titans, as bad as they were, they won that game. They're still mathematically alive, okay? Sanchez throws interception after interception after interception. And yet he still, Rex Ryan's like, you know what? No. Tim Tebow, you sit quietly like a good boy. Mark Sanchez, you continue to be mediocre and go lose us the game. And
mediocre? You call it mediocre?
To Rex Ryan, it's mediocre.
He's the 36th rated quarterback out of 37 quarterbacks, and there's only 32 teams. He's awful.
And you call it mediocre?
No.
Well, now I'd say he's probably 38th out of 38 quarterbacks because they introduced McElroy.
Yeah,
now.
Anyway, like I said, they had a chance and they didn't take it. They had a chance weeks ago, week 4. Like we even said with Terry on the football special, Sanchez is going to stink it up like week 4, and they put Tebow in, and they should have done that, but they didn't. So now McElroy's hurt, and it's like, what did you bring Tim Tebow in here to do? Is he the backup quarterback?
Clearly not playing.
Or is he a circus sideshow? Because he's technically his job is the backup quarterback.
Here's the facts. All right, Rex Ryan.
Such a child.
When you take into account Rex Ryan's ego, they don't want to, and it goes back to something Postmaster said a couple weeks ago. You don't want to take the chance that Tim Tebow, if you play him a full game, is actually going to make you win, because then you look like an idiot in the city of New York. The half that doesn't go for the Giants, at least the half that roots for the bad team and the little brother.
They're both pretty bad.
The team that roots for the fans that root for little brother are going to be that much more infuriated because they could have been doing this. And now Tebow he said I don't want to go into the Wildcard. And then he comes out and says, no, I never said I want to go in the Wildcard. Tebow, it's fine. You cannot go into the Wildcard. If they're going to disrespect you like this, you are a man of strong beliefs, sir. You want to stick up for yourself in what you believe in. If you said don't put me in the Wildcat, I don't want any part of this team, I'm taking my ball, I'm going home, that is fine. No one is mad at you. As a matter of fact, when everybody thought you did say this, everybody had your back. Because everybody
called him a hypocrite too.
No, I didn't hear one person call him a hypocrite.
People were calling him a hypocrite because he said, "Oh, Tim Tebow is this great teammate, and he's this and he's that. He should just want to play no matter what." But I agree. I think Tim Tebow should speak up because he's not being used correctly.
He's a man of strong beliefs. You have to fight for what you believe in, and guess what? They stole a year of your life. So you owe them nothing.
His girlfriend didn't believe in him.
Lindsey Vaughn. No, I'm kidding.
She's gone. She left.
When we turn to TMZ,
I'm just saying. You said there was nobody that believed in him.
So
did not believe
Tim
in him.
Tebow is going to be at Jacksonville next year. We hope.
More than likely.
If he does,
virtual.
Cecil Shorts, Justin Blackman, MJD.
If he's still there,
he will. If Tim Tebow goes, he'll go.
They said he may stay, but he may be.
I said to you off air. Well, here's the reason. Tim Tebow had 2 teams last year he could have gone to. It was the Jets, obviously that's the team he chose, and Jacksonville. Ultimately, the owners of the Jags wanted Tim Tebow, but the coach, Mike Mularkey, and that staff did not. So more than likely, since Jacksonville was...
You got that wrong.
What?
The Jets owners wanted him, but the coaches said they wanted him, and they brought him on anyway.
Well, I'm saying the Jags coach didn't want him.
No, the Jags coach wanted him, and the Jags ownership didn't want him.
No, the owners wanted him.
It was the other way.
All right. Who cares?
Mike Mularkey, I think, will be gone, so I think they're going to get a new coach.
We had some people wanting Tim Tebow and some people not. Right. So, with that being said, moving on. UK U of L battled the Bluegrass this week. UK has won the last 4 meetings between these two schools, including a win in the Final Four of the big tournament, the big dance last year. This year, you and I were talking about this earlier. This year, not many UK fans, including myself, expect this to be a win for Big Blue.
Right.
Now, no one's surprised, by the way, but Gorky Zhang is going to be starting when it was in doubt from as little as 4 weeks ago from his injury that he sustained. In the Atlanta.
No way.
I know.
Whoa.
I can't believe it. You know what somebody had the gall to tell me? No one. Someone had the gall to tell me today.
What's that?
I'm shocked he's going to be. I'm shocked Patino's going to play him.
Do they not know Patino? Patino's been the coach here for like 10 years now. Do they not know his sarcasm?
He plays everything close to the vest, and that's okay.
He plays everything close to the vest. B, he's very sarcastic. So only believe about 10% of what he tells you.
He answers his phone calls in the middle of
and I'm not kidding. It's like only believe like 10% of what he says. It's like I don't know about if I believe in that. I get tired of hearing it because it's like he'll be sitting there and he'll be at a press conference and this is Patino and he's as serious as he be. Well, Florida International is probably going to be one of our top 5 toughest teams.
He's trying to build up his son.
I'm like, What? He does about everybody.
Maybe pre-conference. You might be right about that.
He wanted to give confidence to someone before he crushed him into the ground.
But
one thing that is no secret
to the
about
game on Saturday.
Well, one thing real quick that is no secret about U of L, and this is fact, they play one of the weakest pre-conference schedules in the nation. Because the Big East has been tough in years past, but isn't so much now.
But this year they played a pretty damn tough non-conference schedule.
No, I disagree completely.
Okay.
Hold on. Duke, because they met in a tournament.
Missouri.
They met in a tournament with
Missouri.
Duke, so technically Duke doesn't count.
Missouri.
Because it wasn't scheduled. Missouri, yes, and that's it.
Kentucky,
they haven't played yet. They will be.
But I'm giving you their non-conference teams that are good.
They're
Missouri,
scheduled,
Duke,
and Kentucky. And that's it. And Duke wasn't even playing.
Memphis. That's a tough place to play.
Memphis, they made a good point about Memphis, though. Memphis is not in the top 100. So you can't really count them as a tough team.
But they were ranked.
It's a tough... No, they're not.
They were when the season started. It's not our fault they're not living up to expectations.
Yeah. But they said last week U of L's strength of schedule dropped to 100 out of 121 pre-conference. Now, of course, that's going to strengthen dramatically when they get into Big East play.
Right.
But pre-conference, U of L has always, and not just since Pitino's been there, since Denny Crum has been there, since whoever has coached U of L basketball, U of L has always had one of the weakest pre-conference schedules in the nation. It's always happened that way. And UK has always played one of the tougher ones because the SEC does not have a good track record. At any given year, you have Florida and you have Vanderbilt good in basketball, and sometimes Tennessee, and that's pretty much all that it is in the SEC. Whereas in the Big East, you have Georgetown, no joke. You did in years past have West Virginia, they're no joke. You have Villanova, who is no joke. You have Notre Dame for basketball only. They're no joke.
Syracuse.
Syracuse. They're absolutely no joke under Jim Boeheim.
Right.
But, people take offense when you say U of L's pre-conference season is crap. They shouldn't, because they play a strong conference.
They like to have a lot of home games. Because Kentucky has a lot of home games. They do play a couple more. But actually, Kentucky has only played about maybe 3 or 4 really good games in non-conference this year. They've played a lot of cupcakes.
Yeah, because they're taking a year off of both Indiana and North Carolina.
And so
in Indiana, they may not be playing them again,
which sucks.
But back to the
game.
I look for a 12-point win here by U of L. That's what I look.
You're pretty close to on because most odds makers have it at 8 to 12.
Yeah, I say about 10
as a point range.
If you and I promise Postmaster, in the event UK wins, I'm not talking crap because I'm not any part this time of year around the state. Facebook, Twitter blow up with trash talk.
Oh yeah,
and it's going on right now as we speak.
This is a good question. I heard this posed yesterday, and I want to ask it to you as a UK fan because there's always I never say never. I never say
there's always that chance.
I never say never. A win is never guaranteed. Right. I don't care.
Win is absolutely never.
Look at Syracuse the other day. They lost to somebody that lost to Canisius.
They lost to Temple.
They lost to Temple, who had lost to Canisius.
And even years ago, we talked about it last week on the show. What led to the Maui Invitational? The fact that Chaminade beat a Ralph Sampson-led Virginia back in 1982.
So the question I have for you is this. I believe it was 2 years ago, maybe 3. Kentucky came to the Yum Center. It was the year that Louisville should have won easily. Mm-hmm. Josh Harrelson had a game. He lost his mind. He played out of his mind.
And from then out, Josh Harrelson was a legitimate weapon for the University of Kentucky all the way
through. That was his coming out part.
Right.
If there was one player, unexpected, on UK's roster that could do that and pull off the upset, who would it be?
Alex Poitras.
That's funny. He was the majority of everybody. Everybody said Alex Poitras. A couple people said Kyle Wiltshire, as if he gets hot from 3-point
if he gets hot from 3-point land, this is going to be a single-digit game.
But they also said to that point, he don't get as many open looks this year as he did last year because last year he played with 4 superstars.
Right.
So they were all keying on those guys, and he had a lot of open looks. And now that they know that, he doesn't get as many open looks as he did last year. But I kind of agree with you all. I look for Louisville to win by about 10.
I said 10.
Now, Alex Poitras provides something that he can play anywhere. He can play anywhere on the line, especially from outside the arc. He can knock down threes. You're not going to find anyone like a Darius Miller or a Jaron Lamb who shoots 47%, 50% respectively from beyond the three-point line. That's unheard of. That you won't see that for a while. That's just sickening.
Right.
But when you take into account the stability on the other end of the floor that Russ Smith provides you to the ball and the protection that Gorky Zhang gives you, you have to feel good about U of L's chances in this game overall. The only X factor is, and I've heard this, Russ Smith may be technically U of L's best player, but he has off nights.
I don't think he is our best player.
Everybody is pointing to Russ Smith.
He's not. I think Gorky Zhang is our best player.
I like to see.
I really do. I think Gorky Zhang is our best player.
I have to disagree because he gives you the protection on the inside, but Russ Smith can play from anywhere.
Yeah, but Russ Smith also plays like a moron sometimes.
He does, and that's what I'm saying. That's what everyone is saying. If Russ Smith has an off day Saturday, UAK wins. Is what the majority. When you always play ifs and buts for whatever.
Yeah,
of course. But if Russ Smith has a garbage game, people are saying UAK wins. I don't think Russ Smith is going to have a garbage game because when you play your rival, you bring it.
Yeah.
Right.
Come hell, high water, and the apocalypse, which happened on the 21st, you bring your A game.
Right, absolutely.
Well, what do you feel about that?
I like to see Siva step up as well. I like to see Peyton step up.
But see, Peyton Siva plays like a point guard should.
Well, I'm just saying,
right?
Have a good game. So.
But the one thing that concerns, I know Zhang, like he's probably our best player. He's been hurt or whatever, but they've built a very good chemistry since he's been out. Blackshear's played very well. Van Treese has done a very good job stepping in. I mean, he's not going to get you Zhang numbers, but he's held his own. And Zach Price has definitely been a big disappointment. I think this was a time he could have stepped up and showed us something, and he hasn't. But it should be a good game. It's the game that everybody around here looks forward to. Mm-hmm. Records, throw them out the window because it'll be a fun time down at the Yum Center. And we'll be right back, and we'll delve into NFL coverage right after this.
Oh, hi, Tom.
Hey.
My little boy loves playing football.
It's a great game.
But what has the NFL done to make the game safer?
We're doing a lot. Carl?
Well, Tom, we're developing new rules to better protect our players.
And over the next decade with the NFL Players Union, they're dedicating more than $100 million for medical research.
Wow.
As well as supporting the development of better and safer equipment.
And I feel a lot better about him playing.
Love to meet the little guy.
Ray, meet Tom.
Cute kid.
And welcome back here on Triple Threat Talk. Postmaster Jones, Jimmy Biggers, along with Big B, Brandon DeMiro, and Gary, the doctor. Little Matt, the nurse practitioner.
Shut up.
No, he's not mad. He's not mad anymore.
I'm like Daniel Tosh. Overpriced tees with sexy stuff.
So before we get into last week,
that's a Daniel Tosh line.
Don't use it ever again.
I'm just saying, Daniel Tosh.
Before we recap some of the games noted from last week, I think we should all have a good cry because this is the last regular season of the year.
Where did this season go?
I've always said it goes by just like that.
Oh my God! I feel like we just had the NFL special.
You can blink your eye and the season's over.
Jeez.
Yeah, I mean,
week 17 already.
When you look at what we did in the NFL special, how do you feel going into week 16? Do you think we nailed it? Because I have a feeling we nailed it.
I have a feeling we nailed a lot of things. You picked the Vikings to be very well. They're in a position.
So if they win this game, they're going to be 9-7.
Well, no, they'll be 10-6.
Oh yeah, 10-6.
They lose.
Yeah.
And then 3-13 last year. That's remarkable. We also Chiefs to be bad, and boy, are they bad.
after a certain sponsor said that
11-5
Hey, hats off to you. You said the Redskins could win the division,
and they could.
They could very.
Me and the doctor said the Broncos could go 13-3, 12-4. They're right on pace.
Don't forget, I said Seattle 10-6, 11-5. They're on pace.
They're on pace to do that.
So,
and then
we got a lot of stuff right.
Randall Cobb and Percy Harvin, the stars of the
Percy
NFC
Harvin,
North, NFC North.
Percy Harvin's kind of
until since he put him on before Percy Harvin got put on IR, that was definitely happening. We said the Bengals. I said the Bengals could definitely be in a position for playoff again.
Right.
And I think you guys were pretty high on the Steelers. You weren't, but the Ravens and the Steelers.
One question I'll pose before we get into our pick. Since this is the last show of the year, technically, what team that you didn't think would be good is good, and what team do you think would be
the Colts?
Okay, do you think they'd be
the Colts? Remember, we all gave them like maybe 2 or 3 more wins.
Yeah.
We all said maybe like 5-11, 6-10. I think the Colts is a team. The Bengals. I didn't think the Bengals would get a wild card this year. I thought the Ravens and the Steelers were the two best teams, and I thought they would both get in from that division.
Seattle's better than I thought they would be.
I'm kind of shocked at how bad the Giants are. I expected them to do better.
The thing about the Giants that makes me really angry at them is like they think they can just flip a switch on and turn it on whenever they want, which is not.
That's what people in NL Central do in baseball.
Well, they've done that the last two Super Bowl runs. They were 77. They just turn on the switch. Oh, there we go.
I mean, the fact is somebody has to win that division, and lately. All teams in that division have been.
I think it's going to be Washington.
Yeah,
I really do.
I don't know.
When we get into Dallas, I think I'm not. But Tony Romo cannot win must-win games and playoff games.
And then
One more question
before we get the picks and stuff like that. What team is bad? They thought it'd be good.
Ooh, the Steelers. Well, I never thought the Steelers.
But to the Steelers'
Lions could be up there. The Lions.
To the Steelers' defense,
I think the Eagles would probably be.
To the Steelers' defense. Having Big Ben get hurt,
we didn't know it was going to happen.
Really killed their season.
But you didn't know that was going to happen,
right?
But like I said, and he gave me before we even went on air today, he gave me some credit on what I say. When Big Ben is hurt, it hurts the team because he thinks he's more of a man that he can play through the injury. You are not a young man anymore. You are not Superman. You cannot play through injuries and hurt your team in the clutch like you are doing right now. Yeah. He threw a lazy pass.
Yeah, pass. Right. I mean, look like he's throwing to a Bengal.
It really did. I mean, it's ridiculous. And at one point, he did throw it to a Bengal. 2 points.
So the AFC playoff picture is set,
done.
Except for seedings. Yeah. So you got
Texans.
The Bengals and Colts are your wild cards. The Texans, the Patriots, the Broncos, and the Ravens are all division winners.
Those could fluctuate this week.
Yeah.
NFC East still open.
Yeah. And then there's another wild card we decided.
And then another wild card will still be
Vikings, Bears, or Giants. That's it.
Yeah, it's down to 3 on that.
Vikings are the easiest one to get in because they have to win again.
Aren't the Cowboys?
Cowboys have to win that game. If they don't win, they're done.
Okay.
They no wild. If they won last week, they could lose and still be a wild card.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. So let's cover a couple of games from last week. The Packers pull a Seahawks and run up the score of 55-7.
I told you this. I don't know if I told you this. Whatever. Owner Bud Adams was watching his Titans play or not play, I guess, and they were losing so bad he turned off the TV. That's like enough photo comments from your owner there.
That's pretty bad.
This team stinks. Let's see if Bowling's on.
The Redskins continue their winning ways with beating the Eagles 27-20. Nick Foles did get hurt, so it looks like we'll have Michael Vick back for Week 17.
Yeah. I thought Nick Foles is the clear choice for them.
Yeah.
And I think Michael Vick being back, I mean, I still might give the edge to the Giants if Nick Foles is playing, but now that Vick's playing, I probably have to go with the Giants anyway. I will get into that, obviously, but I like Nick Foles a lot. I think he's the future of that team, as quarterback's concerned.
So. The Bengals beat the Steelers in overtime. Big Ben throws an INT, and then the Bengals, in 2 plays, marched down, kicked the game-winning field goal, ending the Steelers' playoff hopes, and the Bengals clinched the wild card.
Ben just cost them that game.
Yeah, he did.
Last week, too, against the Cowboys.
Now, the Patriots and Jags. Interesting game here because last week I said that the 49ers may have broken their hearts. And it looks like that may be the case. Only beating the Jags by 7. Brady being picked off 3 times in this game.
And the thing I heard this from NFL insiders. Brady was really upset. He was really mad. Apparently, he was yelling at his teammates on the sideline, and I mean, deservedly so. Jacksonville's pathetic. I mean, there's no doubt about Jacksonville's bad. And you're New England, and you're wanting to, stamp your stamp of approval on the AFC. Like, you know what? We're the favorite in this division, not Denver, not Houston, whatever. And they just go out there, and Jacksonville nearly beats them.
Right.
How much of Brady's frustration is his wife living vicariously through him?
I don't think it has anything to do with that. I don't think it's a Romo thing going on. Like when he was dating Justin Simpson.
No. Like Giselle definitely influences Brady's decisions because she even gets on the team sometimes, saying he can't do it himself. When there are now players just as good.
He's right.
There are players just as good as he is, such as a Gronkowski, such as a Hernandez, such as a Welker. Yeah. You know what? Danny Woodhead may be the most underrated running back in the NFL. Yeah. He's a very good player. I have to wonder how much of this he brings home, he brings from the house.
I don't know. And it's just up until that game against San Francisco, New England looked like a clear favorite in the AFC. And then, they no discredit to San Francisco. San Francisco's a very good team. and then New England made their
won on Sunday.
Well, like I said, you're playing Land of Oz. But New England, one of those teams that you expect to be good, and now that they go to Jacksonville and they're favored by I think 3 touchdowns, and they just the Patriots just. You're confused. It's like, what's going on with this team? You know what I mean?
The Colts continue their winning ways. They beat the Chiefs 20-13. Close game, but they did pull it out when it mattered.
I'll say this about. There's 2 sides to this thing here. Okay, one, congratulations to the Colts winning their 10th game, going to the playoffs after an abysmal season.
Chuck Pagano is back, which is good for
that game against the Texans.
And Andrew Luck said his goal was to win that game so that when Chuck Pagano came back, they were already in the playoffs.
But the problem.
And that way it would be even less stress on him when he got back.
But the problem I have for the Colts going forward is that you allowed over 540 yards of offense against the Kansas City Chiefs.
And it was all mostly rushing.
Yeah. So
Jamal Charles
is amazing.
I'm not saying he's not.
No, but that's been their problem all year.
I'm saying,
they're 30th in rushing.
They're going to go up against teams in the AFC that are good rushing. The Texans are good in rushing. The Broncos are good at rushing. The Ravens have a stud.
And you know what?
Rice.
The Patriots are good at rushing.
Yeah, so the Colts really need to adjust their run defense because it's not working.
Yep, I agree. Tony Romo brings the Cowboys from 2 touchdowns back to tie it, but comes up short in OT. The Saints win.
Throws for 400 yards, over 400 yards.
If you're a Cowboy,
you can't put it on Romo on this one.
Nope.
I'm saying if
you can't put it on Des Bryant.
No. If you're a Cowboys fan, that game had to turn your stomach.
It had to.
Because you're playing the Saints, who aren't very good defensively, and you're losing 31-14. You come back late, get into overtime. You get the ball first and don't do anything. So you rely on your defense, which is a big mistake because Dallas' defense isn't that good this year.
It's better than New Orleans.
Well, yeah, it's better than New Orleans. And then make a great play on defense, knock the ball loose, and the ball goes flying towards the goal line, and the New Orleans Saints get it, and they kick a chip shot field goal. So it's like the Cowboys were so close to winning that game, and then just one mistake that cost them. And it's a game they needed to win. Now they have to win or they're out.
The Broncos win their 10th in a row, sleepwalking through the Browns. Literally.
Did Darren Orlovsky come in? Who's the backup?
What?
Bruce?
Darren Orlovsky played most of 4th.
No, it's Brock Osweiler.
Yeah, Brock Osweiler.
Did he play?
Yes, he did.
And then the Land of Oz happened.
Well, I was going to say, just to mention this real quick, the Ravens absolutely made the Giants look stupid. The Ravens picked...
I can't figure out the Giants.
I can't either. I mean, it's like you said, they thought, well, we just flip on the switch and we can play.
Apparently couldn't find the switches.
And I think the Ravens were fed up with losing at home. They lost 2 in a row.
That's why I picked them.
And they were like, I don't think we're going to let that happen for a 3rd time. So, and then the game of the week.
The Land of Oz, as I call it.
42-13 Seahawks over the Niners.
They shellacked the Niners.
I said this before, and let me go real quick. Us beating Arizona 58-0, whatever. Still scoring 58 points, scoring 58 points. Beating Buffalo 50-17, again, Buffalo score 50 points. Then you play San Francisco and score 42 on that defense. That is very impressive.
Well, I'm going to say that I think it's good, but there's also a bad side to it, and the fact that the Seahawks had put up 50 points a game of offense. That's what they've been shooting for, and the Niners stopped them from doing that.
Okay, sorry.
And one of those was a special teams touchdown.
Yeah. But that's fine. That's whatever. But in the last 3 games, Seattle's averaged 50 points a game.
And one of the things that they need to realize in San Francisco is when Frank Gore gets the ball early and often, games are a whole lot better for them.
The game they played in Candlestick, they gave the ball to Frank Gore line, and we were watching. Frank Gore was gassed. He was tired, but they won the game. This time, they're relying more on Kaepernick to do everything, and that cost them because Kaepernick is good, but...
And Jim Harbaugh saw that.
You got to give it to Gore because he is one of the best players on your team, and Seattle's like, okay, you're going to throw our quarterback's going to shut you down.
Smash mouth running football with Frank Gore, and now the addition of the fresh legs of LaMichael James. And that kid is talented.
He is.
That kid is amazing.
That was the Seahawks' 7th win at home. They're 7-0.
They've won 6 of the last 17.
They've won 6 of the last 7. However, they are 3-5 on the road.
I think that's impressive, honestly, 3-5 on the road. Because Seattle, if you go 7 or 8, they're probably going to go 8-0 at home, barring anything weird. But they're probably going to 8-0 home and 3-5. That's pretty good, 3-5 on the road, especially.
But the thing that would concern me as a Seahawks fan is that their playoff game is going to be on the road. They're not going to get a home playoff.
Well, unless they technically could get a playoff game unless No,
they're not going to get one in the first round.
No, well,
if the Niners lose
and the Packers lose, then yes, they would. Yeah. But that's that's kind of throwing it out there.
I'm just saying if they have to go,
But I think they're battle tested now. I think Seattle's not the same team you saw weeks ago. When they lost to the Lions and the Dolphins on the road.
If they play on the road, they're not going to win unless they play. They're going
to have to play out of their mind. They're going to have to play out of their mind.
They beat Buffalo on the road.
Buffalo's terrible.
I don't care.
They're one of the worst. And that was a neutral.
You're talking about. At least you can reason with me as a 49ers fan. You're talking about one of the biggest Seahawks homers.
No, I don't care if they're playing Buffalo. It doesn't matter who they play. Sometimes on the road they struggle. Whoever they're playing.
I know.
They should have beat Miami on the road.
Give me a team they beat on the road that was impressive.
Chicago.
The Chicago's bad.
Their defense is amazing.
When they played Chicago was still good.
Yeah,
Chicago
that's the same thing with the Niners. When the Niners play Chicago,
that's the only team they beat on the road that's good. An average Chicago team.
In general, he is right.
Chicago was
An average Chicago team is the only team they beat on the road.
Chicago was.
I'm not down your team.
I'm just saying Chicago.
I'm stating what facts are presented.
I'm just saying at that point, Chicago was the number one team in the NFC.
That's
North.
fine, and I'm not downgrading your team at all. I'm just laying the facts out there.
I agree. It would be better.
Struggle on the road.
I'm not denying that, but it'd be. I'm not saying it wouldn't be beneficial for them to play at home because obviously
it's going to be the 5 seed more or less, right?
Well, unless like I said, barring something.
So if they're the 5 seed, they'll get the 3 seed.
They'll get the NFC East so they play the Redskins or the Cowboys.
Yeah, they'll get the NFC East.
Redskins or Cowboys,
and they might win that game.
They could win that.
Maybe, but then their next game.
What are you going to do, fella?
Then their next game is on the road.
Seahawks going to be in trouble.
They're on the road throughout the playoffs. They don't get home field advantage.
Yes.
They might win their first round. There's no way they get past the second round, though.
You will not win in Lambeau. If you get past the first round, you won't win in Lambeau. You won't win in Lambeau. You're not going to win at the Georgia Dome.
And you're not winning a Candlestick. So
I don't know about that, but
you're not going to win a Candlestick.
Like I said,
they showed that earlier.
Yeah, but that was a different team back then. This team is different now.
This team is different too.
No,
you had to contend with.
You're backwards.
Well, maybe
you're struggling.
I would say that you're wrong because of what we did to the Patriots.
Yeah, on the road, going cross country
in Foxborough, going 3,000 miles. The only reason we lost that game at your all's place was 2 reasons: Land of Oz, and B, we had to travel 3,000 miles the opposite direction.
He's got a point. They beat the Patriots on the road, and we'll find out our final picks when we get into Week 17 pick'ems and we wrap up the season. Oh God! Right after this.
Hey Peyton, welcome back.
Thanks, Papa. What are we going to do to kick off this season?
Same thing as last season. 1 million free Papa John's pizzas.
Good idea. 2 million free pizzas. I like it.
No. 1 million free Papa John pizzas.
2 million pizzas it is. Let's do it.
All season long, Papa John's has 2 million free pizzas for Papa Rewards members. Sign up now at papajohns.com, where a large buffalo chicken pizza is $10 or any large $2 more.
Better ingredients?
Better pizza.
Papa John's. Really? 2 million free pizzas?
Wait till you see what's next.
They're not that good on the road, and the only
3-5 is not terrible on the road.
So we're back, and they're still bickering.
We're back.
Are we back?
Oh, I guess we are.
Yeah, they're still bickering. This actually, we took a quick break to talk with somebody who was here, but this has been going on the entire break.
I can't get it. Before we get into pick'ems, I don't know why you cannot comprehend that Seattle. Their only team they beat on the road that's even decent is an average Chicago Bears team.
And
that's it.
And not only that, but I honestly don't think that if we had maybe like another day or two, I don't think the Niners would have lost to them because 3,000 miles in the opposite direction, after you've gone another 3,000.
You honestly think?
I don't agree with that statement.
You just did before the break.
You honestly think?
I did not. Not with you saying the 49ers would win.
You honestly think?
I agree with you. The reason
that
they lost.
The way Seattle was playing now, regardless of San Francisco traveling 3,000 some odd miles, they're going to come into their house and ruin their perfect home record. I highly doubt the way Seattle was playing.
Why not? They did it the same. They did the same exact thing to the Patriots.
Yeah, but
if you're going to tell me the Seahawks are playing better than the Patriots,
I am. I absolutely am. Absolutely.
Now that this show's lost a little bit of credibility,
lost to Jacksonville.
So?
Jacksonville. In Jacksonville.
Okay. What's your point?
Let me say this though. The reason I said San Francisco would lose this game is not because it's in the Land of Oz. That helps. But You have a quarterback in Colin Kaepernick going to that environment. I said to you, Alex Smith would have done a lot better in that environment because he's used to it. Kaepernick is not used to it. He's not.
Okay. Now, I'll counter that by saying Bill Belichick eats young quarterbacks for breakfast. He does. Okay. His record against rookie quarterbacks is unmatched.
Okay, look what Seattle did to him when they came up to our house.
Okay.
We won.
And it still doesn't matter because he's not used to the crowd noise. Belichick eats them up strategically. And look what a almost rookie quarterback did to the Patriots. That's what you have to go back to. You have to go back to the fact that Kaepernick outdrew, outclassed, and outperformed Tom Brady at Foxborough with a absolutely perfect December record throughout Belichick's career and gave him his first L at Foxborough.
I'm not denying that.
So, and I'm sorry, but Bill Belichick is a lot better of a coach than Pete Carroll.
I'm not denying that either.
I mean,
but you asked me, right?
The factor is the crowd noise in the stadium, and Collingsworth even made several comments that place was registering on the Richter scale that night.
I'm not saying that Bill Belichick is Pete Carroll's better coach. I'm not saying it. But you asked me, do you think Seattle's playing better than New England? I said, yes, they are playing. They've won 6 out of the last 7. They're scoring more points than New England. Their defense is playing better than New England. I think Russell Wilson's playing better than... He has the number 1 passer rating on the NFL. So I think they are playing better than New England. All the stats point to their play. Their running game is better. Their defense is better. Their quarterback's playing better.
I gave you the win over San Francisco was impressive, but before that, they blew out Arizona. Okay, Arizona's nothing.
58 points is 58 points.
But Arizona's terrible.
58 points is 58 points.
And they beat the Bills, who's terrible.
And the Bears just destroyed Arizona, too.
And the thing is, they scored 50 points they averaged 50 points last 3 games, and they haven't. No team has done it since 1950.
Right.
You're telling me there's teams that haven't played back-to-back bad games since 1950? You're out of your mind if you think that.
I didn't say.
I'm just saying.
It's 2 different teams we're talking about here. I'm saying the level of competition that they've played up to last Sunday. I'm giving you Sunday. Right. I'm not taking that away from you. I'm telling you the games before that, several of the teams they beat were lower tier, under 500, bottom of the barrel teams.
But you're missing.
And y'all were taking advantage.
You're missing my point. You're telling me that from 1950 to 2012 there wasn't a dominant team that played a lesser team. They didn't score 58 points. Or in 3 games.
Because Pete Carroll runs up the score. We've been over this.
That's why it doesn't happen very often because coaches in general don't run up the score.
Most people don't score. If they know they got a team overmatched.
Like Mike McCarthy is not going to do that to the Vikings.
Give you a perfect example here. Looking at the scores from last week. Just a perfect example. The Broncos 34, the Browns 12. Do you really think the Broncos could only put 34 up on the Browns?
I'm not saying they couldn't have.
Do you really think they tried to?
No.
They could have. They probably would have.
That.
But I'm just saying, so when you know you got a team overmatched, that just because you hang up 50 don't make you better than anybody else.
True.
Just like if you yell, that doesn't make your point to be right.
That doesn't make you right.
Okay?
Like I've told him several times.
I'm just saying. It's the principle of the matter of just because you hang a number of points on a team for a week straight, if you average 50 points a game, that don't make you good. That don't make you the best team ever. Because you can do it.
It makes you the biggest jackasses ever.
Sometimes it's like, that is a misleading stat to me. Because, like I said, you played a lot of bottom of the barrel, under 500 teams up until last week. Because like I told you, I'm giving you last week. That was impressive because I didn't see that coming. I didn't think they would. I thought even if Seattle won, it wouldn't be that dominant, honestly. I thought it would be a very close game. I even said San Francisco could win by a touchdown or so.
Or 10,
yeah. But it's you got to look at the scheduling. You got to look at who they got to play, where they got to play, and to me, come playoffs, and I hate to say it, if they get the right team, they could win against the NFC East. I'll give you that win. But like he said before, I just don't think they're going to win on the road in a tough environment like Lambeau or anything like that.
Well, what's the thing? Like I said, I think they're playing the best football on anybody in the NFC right now.
Okay, so we're going to go into pick'ems. And
we'll start off with the Bucs and the Falcons.
You know what? The Falcons are resting everybody. That came across the Falcons pages. Yeah. They're resting everybody. I'm going for that reason only. I'm going Bucs.
Yeah, they wrapped everything up, so I picked the Bucs as well.
I'll pick the Bucs as well. The Jets at the Bills.
I'm going the Bills. The Jets need to get it together.
Jets are pathetic. I picked the Bills.
I'll pick the Bills. The Ravens at Bengals division game. The Ravens have already wrapped up the division.
Yeah.
The Bengals Marvin Lewis said, "I'm playing my guys." I don't know if the Ravens are or not.
Well, if they lost to the Giants, then this would be for the AFC North.
Yeah. So. The Ravens did activate Ray Lewis.
He's not playing.
He's not playing.
He is not playing.
They still can change his mind. But I don't think they will. With that being said, the Ravens have nothing more to play for. I see the Bengals even at Cincinnati. But even if they did have something to play for, I'd still say the Bengals on this one.
This game is gonna see how the Bengals are gonna enter into the playoffs, if they're gonna enter strong or not. I think they will. Like I said, I think the Ravens. I think the Giants are just bad. I think that's why the Ravens won that way. I picked the Bengals as well.
I like the Bengals here. The AFC North Toilet Bowl Super Bowl.
No, there's not one.
I'm taking the Steelers.
Well,
he didn't say the team for you yet.
I just assumed everybody knew what we were talking about.
Never assume.
I'm taking the Steelers. Browns and Steelers.
I picked the Browns. They did it once. They'll do it again.
I picked the Steelers. Why not?
You gotta go different, fella. Do you want to win or not?
Huh?
He's also got to sound intelligent too. He's got playoffs to catch me.
Playoffs, yeah, fella.
He's got playoffs to catch me.
Bears and Lions.
Bears.
This is the playoff.
This defense. Charles Tillman went ballistic. 2 touchdowns last week for Charles Tillman, and he's a defensive player.
This game has playoff implications. The Bears need to win to stay alive. I say they do. I say the Bears win. I pick the Bears.
I picked the Bears as well. In the AFC South Toilet Bowl Super Bowl game, the Jaguars at the Titans.
The Jags are a little bit bigger of a piece in the toilet bowl. I'm going to say the Jags.
What the heck? What? Okay.
The Jags are going to win.
I can't go on.
I can't go on.
Jacksonville is bad.
But they almost beat it. Wait a minute. 5 minutes ago you said, whoa, they almost beat New England. Another.
No, it was bashing New England for almost losing to Jacksonville.
Okay, well, if they can almost beat New England, couldn't they beat Tennessee?
Jacksonville's only missing a piece of the puzzle. They're not as bad as everybody's. They're bad.
When you throw 3 interceptions, you can probably miss a lot of teams.
But they're bad. But they're not horrible. I can name 2 or 3 teams worse.
I think the Titans just got outmatched.
And the Titans is one of them.
I think the Titans just got outmatched last week by Green Bay. I picked Tennessee.
I picked the Jags. I'm just not seeing it. The Eagles at the Giants, and the Giants the game must have. They must have.
They need help.
It doesn't matter who plays the Eagles. That team is going to win. The Giants.
If Nick Foles were healthy, I'd pick the Eagles, but he's not, so I picked the pathetic Giants.
Pick the Giants as well. In the Panthers at the Saints.
I'm going to have to go... I'm going to go with the Saints. I think the Saints is a good pick here.
I think this Panthers team might...
Cam Newton's going to go off, though.
Well,
He's going to have a game.
I think I maybe predicted too early. I think next year the Panthers are going to have a good year. I think now they're playing really good this year at the end of the year. I picked the Panthers.
I picked the Saints.
Well, maybe I'm going to catch up here. I get these games right. This is a tough one.
This is going to be...
Texans need this game. They can't rest anybody.
This right here is probably the game of the week.
Yeah, I'd say so. They can't rest.
I think it is.
They can't rest anybody.
I think it really is.
If the Texans,
it'd be that or the Cowboys and Redskins.
If the Texans won against Minnesota, this game would mean nothing to Texans. They were after it, but they need this game to get home field. Unless if they lose, they go down to the 3 seed.
Yeah.
So
Texans at Indianapolis with Chuck Pagano back on the sideline.
You know, a while ago I thought that they would go home and home, but the Texans just beat them at their place. I mean,
but the Texans they look bad.
They look bad.
Arian Foster might not play.
And that's another factor. Arian Foster may in fact not play.
And they need him to play. Matt Schaub can't do it on his own.
No, he can't.
So with the piece of the puzzle that Arian Foster may not play, with that information, I'm going to have to go with the Colts.
I'm picking the Colts.
I'm picking the Colts as well.
Yep. The Packers and the Vikings.
Adrian Peterson has said he wants this record. He wants this record.
He has to go off.
He has to go off. 208 yards. He's done 200 yards a couple times this season.
Against the Packers. He did 225
in Lambeau.
And you know what? They're at the Vikings. I'm going to have to go on the limb.
I wouldn't say it's a limb if you beat the Vikings. I wouldn't think it would be.
I'm going to say the Vikings are going to win this and thus give the 49ers, hopefully, what will be the first round bye. I'm going with the Vikings.
Yeah, I picked the Vikings as well. I think they win this. They want to get in the playoffs. I mean, 3-13 last year and going 10-6 this year. That's a huge turnaround. I picked Minnesota. You know you want to do it.
Huh?
I can tell you want to pick Minnesota.
Huh?
I can tell you want to pick.
I do, but everything else says pick Green Bay. I'm going with Minnesota. Right. Damn it. The Rams go to the land of Oz and take on the Seahawks.
Seahawks can end their season strong. Hopefully things fall in their place. I pick Seattle.
Hopefully Pete Carroll doesn't run up the score and make himself look like a douche, so I pick the Seahawks.
He said last week. Oh, never mind. I'll tell you later.
The Miami Dolphins go to New England, and I doubt this will happen again, and try to give Tom Brady yet another loss at home in December.
That's not going to happen. I'm picking the Pats.
I think, like you usually say on the show, I think New England's going to be mad, so I think this is going to be a huge win for New England. I pick the Patriots.
And what'll probably be the wallop of the
What'd you
week?
pick?
I'm going to pick the Patriots.
No, this game might be close because remember, the Chiefs are winning the AFC West.
That's true. And Romo Cannell's going to win Coach of the Year. They're going to go 11-5. It's going to be great. The Chiefs go on the road to Sheriff Manning and company and the Denver Broncos.
The Broncos.
This game is good enough for you. I pick the Broncos.
If.
Well, do you expect?
Well, this is what I'm going
Osweiler to play?
If the Broncos didn't have a shot at the 1 seed, because if they win, they get the 1 seed.
Right.
I would say Peyton Manning you wouldn't see Peyton Manning. But the fact that if they win, they get the number 1 overall seed in the AFC, I pick the Broncos.
Right.
In what would be the biggest toilet bowl game of the week by far.
Oh, let me get my barf bag out.
Oh my God, I hope nobody has to sit through this. The Raiders at the Chargers.
This is a tough game to pick.
Both teams are bad.
You know what, though? The Chargers are really putting it up on the running game lately. And the fact that Carson Palmer got knocked out of the game this last week, had that not happened, I'd be picking the Raiders. For that reason, though, I'm going with the Chargers.
I have a question. Do I have to pick?
Well, I mean, you could do like Gary and do the coin flip. Here, you want to get you a coin?
No, I'll pick the Chargers. The Raiders are pathetic.
I picked the Chargers as well. The Arizona Cardinals go home to a very mad, a very angry, and a very stupid
This could be a shutout.
San Francisco team.
I'm going the 49ers.
Don't even think about it.
Are you serious? Why the hell not? I pick Arizona.
Oh my God, really?
Are you serious? Why not?
I'm picking the 49ers, and Big B is officially need to be checked into the...
I'm already losing anyway. Why not? Why not?
True. Why not take a gamble?
Stranger things have happened.
I would take your gamble on this next game, though.
This is a tough one.
This could be the toughest pick of the week. This is also be right there with the Texans and Colts as the game of the week.
This wasn't scheduled Sunday night. Now they did it.
Oh, it is going to be Sunday night football.
Yeah, they made it Sunday. Yeah, they did. Yeah.
So, there wasn't supposed to be a Sunday night game, and now they made it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So Tony Romo looks to finally get over the hump of not being able to win the big game as he goes on the road to our nation's capital to take on the Redskins.
I think Tony Romo does it. He's been playing well lately. And RG3's still not 100%, lest we forget. I'm going to Cowboys.
Redskins are at home. I picked the Redskins.
I picked the Cowboys as well, and that'll wrap up Pick'ems.
And we will wrap up the show after these messages.
Hey, Nick Dinsmore here. Do you have the dream of becoming a pro wrestler? Well, I did, and I came to Ohio Valley Wrestling. Join the Nick Dinsmore Pro Wrestling class today. I'm a former WWE superstar. I'm a former 9-time Ohio Valley Wrestling heavyweight champion, and I can train you to be the best today. For all the information regarding the Nick Dinsmore Pro Wrestling class, go to ovwrestling.com and click on school. Join the Nick Dinsmore Pro Wrestling class today. ovwrestling.com, click on school.
And we are back here on Triple Threat Talk. I am Big B, Brandon Muir, alongside Gary, the Doctor, Lockard, and Postmaster Jones, Jimmy Biggers. We just finished our pick'ems, and we're going to wrap up the show.
Well, before we delve into wrapping up the show, real quick, Pro Bowl.
They still play that?
Yeah, they do. The reason why I bring this up is the AFC quarterbacks are Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, and Matt Schaub. Yeah. I think Matt Schaub shouldn't be in there, and Andrew Luck should.
Yep, I agree.
I agree with that 100%.
I think Andrew Luck should be in the Pro Bowl. I think
he earned it.
He earned it. They took a team that had 2 wins all of last season.
2-14 last year,
and they don't have that much of a running game. No. And their rushing defense is not all that great.
It's all on Andrew Luck.
It's all on Andrew Luck. And Andrew Luck has carried them through the season. I think he deserves to be in the Pro Bowl, and I think it's a shame that he didn't get voted in.
I 100% agree.
I think Russell Wilson got snubbed. I think he should have been in.
RG3 got in, though.
Well, I'm glad. The biggest snub for me is Richard Sherman. He was one of the biggest, and the thing is, it made no sense. He was one of the best defensive backs in all football. 7 interceptions, 1 touchdown return, and all his stats I could name. But Patrick Peterson for the Cardinals gets in.
And then you have, even when the 49ers were bad, as little as 3 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, you still had 5 or 6 49ers because their defense has always been decent. You know, you've got Patrick Willis, no shock there, Navarro Bowman, Alden Smith, Justin Smith, and those are some very good players on the 49ers.
And I would figure your consensus here is, while it is good to get into the Pro Bowl, none of us want to see our teams play in the Pro Bowl.
It's kind of like one of those things that it's good to have in basketball, like first-team All-Americans, like to name those players. I think maybe that's what they need to do in this.
Like I said, I think all of us here would rather see teams play in New Orleans than Hawaii this year. So.
Talk about wrestling for just a bit. It was kind of an odd week. They were basically off. OVW
this last week, I think, with go to
Brian Cannon's website, OVWMania.blogspot.com. Check out what happened.
So the holiday week was tough to cover for us.
WWE. It was like the Christmas specials. It looked like Nick Jr. It was
horrible.
I felt bad for them because they taped the Raw after SmackDown, so it's a lot on them. But I mean, as far as that goes, I mean, like I said in the notes, into the new year, I think the new year's will be strong for them. Rumble's always strong. They have the match, with the Rock and CM Punk. That should be good. They're gonna bring the Rock back on January 7th to compete against the National Championship game, and we'll cover that next week too.
Right.
So I mean, I think next year's gonna be good for them. I think WrestleMania's gonna be good this year. I think they're gonna really deliver some big stuff this year. I think for them. I think they're gonna do a good job.
Before we wrap up the show next week, before we get into our Idiots of the Week and all that, next week we'll be bringing you coverage of the championship game, as well as talking a little bit about the Royal Rumble, Raw, and then talking about playoff implications.
We'll know who plays who in the playoffs. So you got a wild card this week?
Wild card? I do not.
You have a wild card.
I don't really have a wild card. Just a Happy New Year, everybody.
Just a real quick wild card. I want to give a shout out to James Quick, wide receiver at Trinity. He was named Mr. Football for the state of Kentucky. So congratulations to him. He still has not announced where he's going to college. From what I understand, from an insider perspective, all points to U of L, which would be great. However, he still does have offers from Ohio State, UK, and I think Tennessee.
Yeah, he said he's strongly considering all of them too.
So with that, Idiots of the Week. I think Big B.
What did I do? I forgot.
So Big B.
What did I do?
And all you buffoons out there that thought we were all going to die on December 21st.
Oh my God.
You all are this week's Triple Threat Talks Idiots of the Week.
Thanks a lot, Mayans.
So with that, good show, guys.
Yeah, definitely a good show this week. Very good show.
If you want to like us on Facebook, please do at facebook.com/TripleThreatTalk. You can follow us on Twitter at TripleThreatTalk, and you can send us any comment or question you have at triplethreattalk@yahoo.com. For Triple Threat Talk, this is Big B.
Idiot of the Week. This is Gary the Dr. Locker. This is Gary the Dr. Locker, and we want to thank Cheryl Connolly, Terry Bodie, Trailer Park Trash, Ohio Valley Wrestling, everything they do. Check them out at ovwrestling.com and watch them on
Blip.tv. Yes. Insight Channel 130 WKY.
Check out our good friend Brian Cannon at ovblogspot.com.
OVWMania.blogspot.com.
Amateur. If you Google Brian Cannon, it's the only Brian.
If you Google it, it'll come up. Google it.
Wrap the show here.
I am. This is Jimmy, Postmaster Jones Biggers, wishing everybody a happy New Year. And remember, don't drink too much and try to drive.
Big changes coming for Triple Threat Talk into the new year.
This is Big B signing off, and I can't believe we're going to be episode 81 in 2013. I can't stand it anymore. I can't stand it. See you next week.